Okay, so number 17, oopsie, says f of x equals absolute value of x plus 2. All right, do you guys recall what did the absolute value graphs look like? What did the absolute value graphs look like? They look like a V. You guys remember that? Yep.
Do you want us to write the question on our...
No. Well, no, that's not the important part. Okay, do you guys know what the plus 2 is going to do to the graph? It's going to make it go up 2. Okay, so just to be sure, let's go ahead and practice. If you're not sure what it looks like, just plug some x values in, see what comes out, and graph those for y. The y is the same thing as the f of x. Okay. Anyway, if I put in -2, what am I going to get? What's the absolute value? -2 is 2, plus 2 is 4. If I plug in -1, 3, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so that's graphing those points. You guys basically said it right. But so -2, 4, -1, 3, 0, 2, 1, 3, 2, 4. So it's a V that is 2 units up, just like we said.
Yippee.
Okay, 19, kind of the same thing. F of x equals x plus 2 minus 3. All right, what is this plus 2 going to do to the graph inside the absolute value, right next to the x? Backwards.
Left 2. Sorry.
Left 2. So when it's directly on the x, it affects the x motion, the left to right motion, but it does the opposite. So instead of going right 2, it's actually left 2. And what's the -3 going to do to the graph? Down 3. So that kind of tells you what the graph's supposed to look like. Still an absolute value, so it'll still be a V. If you wanted to plug some x values in, since the graph is moving left 2, -2 would be like the middle of the graph. So you might want to plug in like -4, -3. Does that make sense? Because the graph moves left 2, -2 is actually going to be the middle x value. Like right, this is going to be the middle of the graph right here. So, I mean, I kind of already know what it's going to look like because it's left 2, down 3. That's going to be the vertex. It's just going to go up from there. But if I plug in -4, -4 plus 2 is -2. Absolute value, you got to use absolute value. -2 is 2, minus 3, -1. -3 plus 2 is -1. Absolute value is 1, minus 3 is -2. -2 plus 2 is 0, minus 3. -1 plus 2 is 1, minus 3. 0 plus 2 is 2, minus 3. And those are the points. Shocker, makes a B.
Dude, this math is insane.
Alright, well, we're about to get to the hard part.
Why is it posted?
You just jinxed yourself, right? And this entire classroom.
Great. What happened?
You're banned.
What was you do this? What I do?
What,
Oh, I didn't mean to jinx you. Sorry. Watch the one off that though.
I never did. All I said was they're stupid. I don't know where it's not these values.
I got insulted by
That's it's not an insult, it's the truth. And you
It was so sad.
You guys are mohawk.
I didn't mean to
sorry,
have
it's
it
just
mohawk.
true.
It just came that way.
I'm sorry.
Just like that.
My doctor.
What was his comment?
He just said it.
Oops, 21.
Just how I came.
Okay, Gabby.
Alright. Do you guys remember what these functions were called?
Yes.
Everybody's favorite.
Polly.
Piecewise, because it's spread into different pieces.
Oh.
Oh god.
We talked about these yesterday, we didn't graph any though. 0 to 3. And 3 to 6. Okay. So, do you guys understand what this part over here is saying? What does all this on the left side mean?
It's the X value.
Okay. It's basically saying we're graphing these three functions. Right? It's saying fx equals this, fx equals that, fx equals this. So y equals this, y equals that, y. We're going to graph these three things. By the way, on this one, what are all three of these things going to look like? If it's y equals x, what should the picture look like? They're all lines. These are linear equations. So we should have some kind of lines pieced together. But we're only going to graph this line from where to where? -3 to 0. Okay, we're only going to graph this middle line from 0 to 3. Now, what do I mean from -3 to 0? The x values, where are the x values from -3 to 0 at?
Right there.
Okay, that would be from here to here. It's like a number line, right? So for this section right here, like between here and here, we're going to draw this line. From 0 to 3, so that would be from here to here, we're going to draw this line. From 3 to 6, so that would be like out here to the far right, we're going to draw the last line. I can get rid of that. Okay, here's one way you could do it. You could use slope and y-intercept and then kind of just graph part of it. But instead of slope and y-intercept, let's try it like this. I think this is less confusing for the other class. So where did I get these x values from?
-3. In between -3 and 0.
Right, these are the integers from -3 to 0. So this kind of describes where this is supposed to be graphed at. If I plug in -3, what do I get?
3.
If I plug in -2, if I plug in -1, if I plug in 0. Okay, so those 4 points will kind of be our starting spot. Should I make my first point open or closed?
Close.
Closed. These are, if you look at them, they're all going to be closed because they're all equal to. So -3, 3, -2, 2, that was a big dot. -1, 1, 0, 0. So we're just graphing that line from there to there. Okay, then picking up the middle line, we're going to go from 0 to 3. Well, I can kind of cheat on this one. Actually, I can kind of cheat on all these. Because I know these are going to be lines, really I just need to know where the line is starting and stopping. So I'm just going to plug in 0 and 3 here. If I put in 0 for x, what do I get for y?
0.
Yeah, 0 equals 0.
Oh.
If I plug in 3 for x, what do I get for y? 3, 3. So 0, 0, 3, 3. So I kind of skipped all these points in the middle here because it's just going to be a straight line. Doesn't really matter. Is this making sense? Okay, Shannon, do you know where I got this stuff from?
No.
Right here. Okay.
What about that?
Do you know where I got this from?
No.
Right here. These are x values from -3 to 0. So I'm just graphing this line from -3 to 0. So I just chose those. There's a negative in there. I just chose those numbers. And that gave me these, and I plugged them in, you know, like we do. And then I got these points. So we're just graphing this line between x equals -3 and x equals 0. So just between here. So that's that line. Then picking up at 0, we're graphing this line from 0 to 3. So I plugged in 0 and got 0, plugged in 3, got 3. So I kind of skipped them 1 and the 2, but it just makes another line right there. Does that make sense? Okay, well, we got one last section left, right? This one, y equals -x plus 6. So what would be some good x values to plug in right here? 3, 4, 5, 6. Since we know it's a line, you could just do 3 and 6 because it's just going to be a straight line. But oh well, we'll do that. 3, 4.
Is the other one gonna, wait. Can you scroll up? Is 22 gonna be one of those
It's
that's like,
just the problem. I just copied the problem down here.
is 22 gonna be the one that had like, not just lines, but like actual like.
22 is a weird one, yeah. I'm going to help you guys with
You'll help
22.
us, right?
Okay, if I plug in 3, for x here, what am I going to get?
3.
-3 plus 6 is 3. If I plug in 4, -4 plus 6 is 2. 5,
1.
6.
0.
So you see there's kind of a pattern. So we're going 3, 3, 4, 2, 5, 1, 6, 0. So it's kind of it's a zigzag, basically. Notice I'm not drawing arrows because they don't keep going. They stop right there. If you need to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom.
Need some of that
Very, bro, magnesium would make it worse.
Dude, I'm trying to say Motrin. Darn it.
Grant's gone through it right now.
Yeah, bro. Especially after I take the Motrin, then it's gonna start really hurting. And then after that.
You guys do we have to write down all of the whole, like the whole.
You don't have to copy the problem down. I just did, so I have something to point out.
You're a beast.
Okay.
Obese.
How confusing was that?
It was
Highly-
very.
It's getting better. Okay. Well, 22 is definitely the hardest one. 20 is kind of like that one. I will help you with 22, but not 20. No. Year 18 and 20 will be like for homework or in class or whatever.
Darn it.
But yeah, 22 is weird because it's got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to copy it down so we have something to look at up here.
Do you ever wonder how like an engine sounds for like a car?
Oh. Okay, so we got 3 functions again. Let's see, -5 to -1. Okay. What's this first part of the function supposed to look like?
One.
Absolute value looks like a
U.
v.
V.
V. Now, the thing about a v though is if you only graph part of it, it might just look like a line
Okay, so I was right.
because you're only on part of it. Okay, well, you guys probably forgot this from yesterday. Does anybody remember what that meant yesterday?
U. Upside down U.
No, that would be like an
makes
x
it like the
squared.
lowest, like the number below it is like the lowest.
Yeah, it was, you round stuff down.
Oh,
They,
was it the ladder?
There was the stair steps. They drew a picture of it on the bottom of page 83. I'm gonna kind of just use that picture to help me graph it. What do you think this -1 would do to that graph? It's just gonna move the stairs down one step. So we're gonna use the picture from 83 to help us with this part. And then what's this part gonna look like when we graph it?
A U.
Oh. It's basically just y equals x plus 1. So what is this a picture of? Line, right? Y equals mx plus b, it's the line. So it's a v, weird stair step thing, and then a line again. They're just gonna kind of mash together. What's the middle section? X is -1 to 2. And the last section is 2 to 5. Okay, remind me who's gone tomorrow. Shelby, 3. That's it, right? Oh yeah, Caden too. Caden's joining the volleyball too. You guys know that?
No, please.
They probably learned so much more.
He wanted more bonding time with Olivia.
You know what's his good name, bro? Shaden. Shannon XK, bro.
I can't, like, out of the 3 of you, I can't imagine any of you hanging out with. Yeah.
We don't hang out with each other. We don't even talk to each other half the time.
There's no X.
I think
Try-
I talked to Gabe at school more than I ever
I think
did.
I said 2 sentences to Xander like in the
Oh,
past
it's
like
this.
I know, I think I've said one
Very
to Zach in
kind
the past like
siblings here.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
One of them was just goodbye.
I know, mine was okay, bye.
Okay, anyways. So, for my first graph, it's going to be y equals absolute value of x. Well, we kind of know what this one looks like, but just to kind of be careful, I guess. What x values should I plug in right here? No. -5,
-4.
all the way to -1.
Is this gonna be on a like this one specifically? Like to me it's hard.
Probably not.
So
Just be ready for it all. Stop asking that question. What?
So you're not gonna put a piecewise one, or will you do like a simple one?
He said he's gonna put it in
I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you
I
later.
hate it.
Okay. Well, what happens if I plug all these x's into the absolute value of x? They just become positive, right? So we're not really going to see the v on this one. Goes -5, 5. Why can't we see the v? Does that sound confusing? Why doesn't it look like a v? Yeah. Because the v keeps going like this. So we're not seeing that part.
And I was guessing. I still do.
Okay. So don't, you guys got that part?
Yes.
Don't copy this down because what I'm about to draw is wrong. But if you look back on page 83, they have a picture of this, of these stair step things.
Yo.
That's what the greatest integer function looks like. But what's the -1 going to do to it? Down. Whoa.
That looks like a woman. Get it? Get it? Issa?
There. So it just all goes down one. So from -1 to 2, we're just going to have those stair steps. Yeah, from -1 to 2, we just have those stair steps. Plugging stuff in wouldn't work very well. Plus it'd confuse you even if I did.
I can never read.
I'm fine with that.
I used to also play
Oh, I did something wrong.
Uh-oh.
Should this point be included on the left?
No,
So I should have made this an open circle right there.
So make them both open circles.
Well, this one's already an open circle, so I don't have to fix that.
I'll have to put it on next day.
Okay. So Shannon, you're gonna help me with this last one. Pikachu, I choose you.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift album?
So many to choose from.
Red.
She doesn't even own the
Okay.
right song or song.
Reputation.
Shannon. Shh. All right, here we go. What do you think I'm about to write right here?
Sadness.
Shh. Shannon. Turning it down.
X.
You got this, Shannon.
Just take a guess.
X.
Okay, we just graphed these two,
Oh.
so we're on this one, x plus 1. Okay, what would be some good x values, still Shannon, what would be some good x values to go right here? 2, yes.
3.
Yeah, 2 to 5, yes, good. And then I'm just gonna plug these in. These are kind of easy because what happens when I plug 2 in? Just adds 1. So it's just gonna be 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just make those graphs. Should my circles be open or closed here?
Open. Close, sorry.
Close, close. So 2, 3. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6.
Oh.
I believe there are some skinwalkers on this.
What did you do?
No. I think it's the little flowers. They're facing right now, not forward. Bruh. We're fine. More scary forest. I need a tree.
That's the this or the way that
Wait, there's one?